4 months. Get pumped up for Pistons basketball in October. I can't wait already. I am just so excited to watch this team. And the Detroit Pistons quietly, and I say quietly because you know what? Not every move is loud. Not every move shakes, the foundation and is just like, yes, yes, yes. But sometimes there's moves that are made that you're like, thank you. That makes sense. And why has anybody else hired this guy? And so we need to look at those things and we need to be excited. And the Pistons have hired another coach. All right. It is the first big move for Monty Williams, and he has added to his staff another extremely experienced head coach, former head coach, I should say, and he will be our lead assistant. So that tells you kind of where we're going with our current staff. Monty Williams is going to bring in his own guys, and we are going to, it's not a bunch of no names on the bench anymore. So Steven Silas, if you don't know who he is, he spent 3 seasons as the Rockets head coach the last 3 years. All right. We know how the Rockets have been. Not good, right? They've been like the Pistons every year. It's like, who's going to get the first pick? The first pick. Is it the Pistons or is it the Rockets? And they're always in that top 5 or of top worst teams that are there to get it. That is not meaning that Silas can't coach. He absolutely can. Before he went to Houston, he had spent his the previous seasons as a top assistant coach on staffs in Dallas, in Charlotte, and in Golden State. Now, again, not great with the Rockets, but let's look at this. All right. When he was hired in Houston, here's why he was hired: for his offensive ingenuity and experience coaching elite guards in the NBA. Do you know of any guards? Let's just pause here for a second and then we'll just keep reading this article. Do you know any guards that we would like to become elite that maybe play for the Pistons? Maybe the number 1 and number 5 overall picks in the last 2 drafts. I know a couple. It's Cade Cunningham. It's Jaden Ivey. So just think about this. If he's lauded for working with elite guards, you have to ask yourself, well, who were these guards that were elite? Like, I can figure out the Mavs. I can figure out the Warriors. What about the Hornets? What are we looking at? Well, based on the time when he was there, he worked with Doncic with the Mavs, Steph Curry with the Warriors. Hello, right? Top 5 player of all time. Just saying it. Don't turn this off. But he is. He's changed the game completely. Like it, love it. Don't like it, don't love it. Can't argue it. He's changed the game completely. The 3-ball has changed the game, and Steph Curry has changed the 3-ball. And then when he was with the Hornets, it's Kemba Walker. Okay, those are 3 really good guards. Kemba Walker, remember him? Remember how good he was till his knees decided that Kemba didn't get to play basketball anymore? Man, here's what Tim Cato, Silas, who saw Silas up close as an assistant in Dallas, had to say when he was hired by Houston in 2020. Silas always has a smile and a genuine, how are you doing? This is kind of like a Monty Williams type thing. I'm not saying Monty Williams is always smiling, but he's known for being such a good person, right? For those around him, talking about Silas, you'll learn that quickly about him. On the court, he just orchestrated the most successful offense in league history with the Mavericks this season. Sure, much of that credit goes to the players, but you can see Silas's modern view of the sport through how they played, with spacing, off-ball movement, and guard-heavy attacks. That sure seems like tenets that can be applied to the Rockets roster, doesn't it? Question mark. Okay, now we're here. It's 3 years later, and we can say the same thing, but we can say, those sure seem like tenets that can be applied to the Pistons roster, doesn't it? It does. Like, he understands what's going on here. Monty Williams has been credited for getting Devin Booker to the point he's at and helping him play with Chris Paul. Now you have Silas come in and he can do the same thing. This is a really good coach. And I'm telling you now, Silas is one of those coaches. If Detroit starts having success, it will be hard to keep him around because he's going to get another shot at another NBA head coaching gig if this goes well. it also tells me that you have a guy with Steven Silas. I don't know if I said Paul. That would have been oops. Father. Anyways, you have a guy with him who's saying, I believe in what Monty Williams is doing. I believe this roster is good enough. Because do you think a guy that was a top assistant for 3 very good NBA teams that achieved or overachieved, do you think that that guy is going to be like, no, I'm going to go be a top assistant at a struggling team because I don't have anywhere else to choose from? Do you think other people aren't knocking the door down for Silas? They are. Here's the other thing that it tells me, and this is kind of unique. I've heard conversation of we just handed Monty Williams the bag, right? And I understand it's 6 years, 78 million, but part of that is the guarantee in the 7th year. So it's actually equates to about 12 million a year for Monty Williams, which is the highest paid coach in NBA history and the current highest paid coach. Are we going to now skimp on paying other coaches? I don't know what the contract details are here with Silas, but here's what I do know. He's not cheap. You can't get an assistant who's been a top assistant in the past, who has a proven, I want to say it again, very much proven track record, who is a former now NBA head coach. You can't get guys on your staff like that on the cheap. You've got to pay them money. So this goes back once again to ownership and what the owners are willing to do, what Tom Gorse is willing to do. Because as we said before when Monty was hired, coaching does not go against your salary cap. Coaching basically just means what's your owner willing to pay? How much are they willing to pay to make your team better? That is where you get to see the willingness of an owner to do what they need to do. Tom Gorse is doing it. He's doing it. And by the way, as I'm doing this, yes, Silas is the son of longtime NBA player and coach Paul Silas. Duh. I knew that, but I didn't want to say anything that wasn't factual because like there's a little catch. Like, is that his son? Yeah, that's his son. Come on, man. Be confident in yourself. So anyways, I love what the Pistons are doing with this coaching staff. This hire, I am almost as excited. No, that's not true. I'm very much excited about this hire, just like I was about the Monty Williams hire. I really was. I really am, because it just means that they're committed to doing well. And you have assistant coaches that are going to be working with players hands-on throughout the season, in the off season. You need good assistants. You can have a great coach, but you need really high quality assistants. They just got one. This team is going to be starting to do something, and they're going to be well coached. So if they're not that good, it's not the coaching. It's not the coaching. And we can figure that out very quickly, because this already with just 2 players or 2 coaches, Monty Williams, Steven Silas, you can make the argument that's the best 1-2 combo of coaches in the league. You can make that argument. Definitely top 5. All right. Hey, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Okay. Goodbye.